your new favorite, JJ Caballero, usually joined by the lovely Goins, Casey Goins, and this is MonoStereoVideo, but this is a Monster of the Week episode. I'm a songwriter, producer, DJ, while my usual co-host, Casey, is an amazing hairstylist, and we love movies and music, and this is the perfect excuse to talk about music and movies and their cultural impact. Today, doing a little... All right. So there's been a few adjustments that need to be made, and I made the announcement on last week's episode. First off, thank you very much for listening to last week's episode on Purple Rain. Had a great response to it. Love the response to it. Thank you so much. You rock. You rock, and I hope you continue to listen to that episode. You continue to share that episode to fellow Prince fans, things as such. I think that episode's real fun. We had a really great time doing that episode. Thank you very much to Prince for living the life that you lived and for providing us with that art. Yeah. So, update to the format of the show. If this is your first episode, cool, but this is not what this show really hinges on. What I'm going to do, and perpetually what we're doing from now on, is every other week we will have our regular soundtrack episodes. So if this is your first episode, we do talk about movie music, we talk about soundtracks, scores, about different movies, and we spend a good amount of time talking about that specific score and that specific music for that movie and what have you. So that's what we do on those episodes, and it's usually me and my partner, Casey. Adjusting things because people's lives are busy and you can get burnt out on things, and trying to avoid burnout. What we're doing is every other week we're going to have a regular episode, and then every other week, that's the other week. So every first and third week of the month, I believe, or second and fourth, it just depends, I think, but we're going to alternate between regular soundtrack episodes and these Monster of the Week episodes. And these Monster of the Week episodes are my little project and my little updates from the world of music and movies. Mainly music news today, but I'm addicted to news. I really like to know what's happening in the world, and I like to share that information and discuss that information and react to some of that stuff. So that's mainly what Monster of the Week is, but I'm working on different things, and it's gonna be a little more researched. I might do some deep dives on specific people that we might not fully get to on this podcast, but it does give me the opportunity to do some more exploring and some more research and do different things with these episodes. So thank you for sticking around and listening to that whole thing. But that's what's going to happen from now on. All right. You could also, I'm also going to say thank you guys for the support that you have shown so far. It's been great. Our online store is there. So Casa Caballero, on the link in the show notes below, you will see the link to the MonoStereoVideo stuff. The first link is to our store. We're selling shirts. We got totes. For us, for Deep Cuts, which is Casey's salon, my music, my EP, my shirt for the EP is out now. I just released an EP, JJ Caballero y Los Sueños. Thank you very much for the support on that. Check it out if you haven't on Bandcamp. Mainly Bandcamp I want you to go, but if you're streaming on Spotify, iMusic, or Apple Music, things as such, it's out there too. So that's all out there. The links in the show notes and the MonoStereoVideo link tree also lead you to our Depop shop. Great success on the Depop shop. We're doing awesome on the Depop shop. I'm very grateful for you, the listeners and the people that stumble onto our Depop shop, or maybe have stumbled onto this show from being customers of the Depop shop. Sell physical media, most of it used. I am stocking up on some vinyl, and we're working on getting some cassette tapes and video cassettes and things as such. Mainly books and tapes and CDs right now. But check it out. I got some cool stuff up there, and I'm always putting more stuff up there. And that does, all these things go to the show. All these things go to MonoStereoVideo. They help keep the lights on. They help keep our hosting on, things like that. As well, you could also support us on Ko-Fi or Coffee. Ko-fi? It's in the links to, you could tip us. You could become a monthly member. I still haven't really figured out how to use it to its full potential and what else I could share with you all. I have a lot of extra stuff, but it's also like digging through things that it might not be that exciting to share. I'm already doing a lot with making like content and videos for this thing and other stuff. So for right now, if you'd like to tip us, you could go to that Ko-Fi page and tip us, buy us a coffee, help keep the lights on with the hosting and things like that. We would greatly appreciate it if you are so inclined to do so. But if you're not, a share of this podcast, a share of this show it's also more than welcome. It is like the best thing. So thank you very much. Cool. Main stories for today's show. There's a few of them. There's quite a few. I'm gonna lead with the heavy one first. Today, we're gonna talk about Diddy. Diddy's trial is going on right now. P. Diddy, formerly Sean P. Diddy Combs, or Sean Diddy Combs, was arrested. RICO charges, sex trafficking, pretty much being a pretty shitty dude. They're getting him on a lot of stuff. There's a lot of accusations there. There's, drug selling, there's violence against women, horrible, like pedophilia is being alleged as well. It's a pretty heavy hand against this fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Full disclosure. I do believe that this all happened. And this is leading to a kind of discussion that's kind of something I wanted to bring up within the discussion of all of this. So I'm gonna play a little bit of... So Deontay Nash is a celebrity stylist, was around Diddy and Cassie. So Cassie, R&B star, singer, protege of Diddy's, was also his partner. But at the same time, he kind of he met her when she was 17 and he was in his late 30s, possibly 40s. He totally gaslit her. He manipulated her. He began to feed her drugs and help her and get her to develop a drug habit. He would fucking pimp her out and have these freak off parties where he'd make her fuck other dudes, or I think he made her fuck, or he fucked her in front of her a husband that she had or something like that too. A horrible man. I'm gonna play some of this. It's a little hard to trigger warning. It may be hard to digest. But I think it's important to listen to some of the accusations, some of the things that are being said, and then we'll further discuss kind of what I really mainly wanted to discuss today.
Giving more credibility to a lot of the other witness testimony, just about how mean and potentially forceful Diddy was against her.
Right. When you're talking about violence, threats, verbal abuse, it's all important for force, fraud, coercion, right? The underlying elements for sex trafficking. And also goes to the larger theme of why Cassie didn't walk away, why she didn't fight back, why didn't she report Sean Combs? It's a big issue in this case. And talking about that power dynamic.
So I am going to stop it there. It's a big issue in the case because the defense is making it a big issue in the case because they are trying to paint the victims as the oppressors. That is exactly what is happening in the situation. It happens in a lot of situations in which women are accusing powerful men who they've been known to have long-term relationships in. The Amber Heard whole fiasco on that was being lauded at her and lobbed at her and stuff. And it's like there are a lot of people who frankly probably hate women, right? And their first inclination is to blame the victim, to say, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she just leave him? Why didn't she just, I would have left him, fuck him, da 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 da. But at the same point, many experts, I'm not an expert in this. I only read and listen to, and I find there's good sources out there of people who deal with this type of thing, who deal with violence against women, who deal with sex trafficking, who are mentors to women, who are activists in this realm, and who work in these places, who all say that this is like she's a victim, and in the situation that she was in, to speak out and to try to leave and stuff, they don't even think of that as an option. They're too scared, or she was successful as an artist and may have she was young, so she possibly tied her success, and Diddy probably threw it in her face to tie her success to him. So there are a lot of factors going into this. We shouldn't jump to conclusions and blame a victim. Believe women, man. You gotta believe women. You gotta believe the oppressed when they are being oppressed.
Is something that's already come up in the past few weeks, and obviously something that's being explored with his testimony. There was a lot of testimony this morning regarding Kid Cudi, because Kid Cudi had taken the stand last week, said that he had this relationship with Cassandra Ventura, and then was retaliated against by Sean Combs, that his house was broken into, his car was torched. And I got to ask you, Elizabeth, based on the testimony today from, I believe, members of Los Angeles Police Department and the fire department, it seems like that might have happened, that his house was broken into.
I just want to say, I know most of you are listening to this. I plead with you, go and look at these court renderings. Go and look at the artist renderings. This does not look like Kid Cudi. I'm sorry. I mean, it's a quick interpretation. One side does. They didn't get the other side. They didn't. Yeah, I don't know.
And that his car was actually firebombed.
It's a little disrespectful, because I personally think Kid Cudi's a handsome man.
Right? I mean, what were some of the highlights regarding that testimony about whether this in fact did happen?
But also, I got ads. So while I'm watching these fucking ads, I hate these fucking ads. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, well, we heard a lot of evidence this morning, especially with the first witness that was called to the stand, and that was Officer Christopher Ignacio. He does work with the LAPD, and he was just explaining his response to the December 2011, this happened December 22nd of 2011, the response to the break-in at Kid Cudi's home. And so it was just interesting kind of hearing his perspective just from an evidentiary standpoint, from a police perspective. And so he says that he was dispatched around 8:20 a.m. that day about a possible suspect kind of staring down near and around the house. And so he responded, and when he responded, what did he see? He noticed right off the bat a black Escalade. And it's interesting that that was one of the first things he said when he was talking about his response, because what did we learn just yesterday when Capricorn Clark was on the stand? That Diddy, Ruben, and Capricorn Clark, according to her testimony, traveled down to Kid Cudi's house in what? A black Escalade. And
So yeah, that goes on further to validate, or because of the police officer being there, they traced the plates to that Escalade, to Bad Boy. So it was the accusation is there, the evidence is there that it was it was a Diddy car. It was a Diddy car, close to the scene of the crime, where We've talked about this before on the show. Fucking Kid Cudi's car was like firebombed, like an expensive car. It was like there was like I think it was Molotov cocktail, if I'm not mistaken. There's a video here. I'll include the links in the show notes as well. But it's very. There's other testimonies through it's the Law and Crime channel. There's other testimony from former assistants, former journalists. I forget if it's the journalist or the assistant who was directed to like strip naked in front of a bunch of people while he like splashed oil on her and like demeaned her. He also, he constantly called Cassie bitch and slut. Like they go on to talk about it here. Like he was just she was a shell of a person, and they go on to talk about it on these testimonies here. A lot of people. So few things. The internet is wild. The internet is wild, and I'll start with the Cassie thing, and I'll start with the misogyny of it all. It's fucking heavy. It's late, and in times like this, people have to be wary of the media landscape and what they're consuming as far as content on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. There is a lot of fake information out there, misinformation, purposefully convoluted information out there, because it helps spread an agenda. It helps spread ideas. This can totally be, I mean, it is being used as a red pill. This whole situation is being used as a red pill now. They're red pilling like old heads. Old heads are helping to red pill other young black men now because there's a whole free Diddy movement. I forgot which politician it was recently. Some Republican politician reposted free Diddy. People like fucking Ty Dolla $ign, Little Boosie's fucking idiot ass is all about free Diddy. Chris Brown, who is a rapist, who is an abuser, who is violent, a violent fucking man, and still gets away with so much shit, and is not like. It's kind of he's always here and there and welcomed in circles and still in the conversation. He's very free Diddy. Tons of people out there are free Diddy now, and it's horrible. Like it's disgusting. It just lends to this air of misogyny and victim blaming, and this like. That's what it is. It's kind of like that's what it boils down to. It boils down to people who hate women, that specifically black women, because they were also like, people were talking shit as to why Cassie took the stand. She shouldn't have been up there. She's just throwing him under the bus for her own fame and fortune, when in all actuality, she was fucking subpoenaed. I believe it was Young Thug that so that's that. Young Thug as well. So this Kid Cudi thing, Young Thug tweeted out, snitch. He called Kid Cudi a snitch. Kid Cudi was also subpoenaed. So neither of these people had a choice on whether they needed to go to court and tell their story. They were subpoenaed. They were ordered to go to this courtroom and tell their truth in front of all the people that they needed to tell the truth on. And good on them. Good on them for speaking the truth against this horrible yet very powerful man, apparently, like in these circles. It's just, there's this, it's disgusting, man. And first off, like the women that are defending Diddy and talking shit on Cassie, and who consistently talk shit on against women who have been abused and are on the side of the oppressed. That's disgusting. It's disgusting. The men who are on the side of Diddy, that's fucking gross. That's disgusting. You're the lowest of the low, and you need to reevaluate yourself. But also just fuck off. Little Boosie can fuck off. Ty Dolla $ign can fuck off. Chris Brown can totally fuck off. Anybody in the camp of people defending Diddy can totally fuck off. This case is still ongoing. There are witnesses left and right. The defense is wild. It's a heavy one. It's a heavy one. It's, there's a few things, like, you hope that in these cases justice can prevail and Diddy can see some time behind bars, or just be away and endure and feel the type of punishment he's been putting onto others, in a Trump regime, this fool might get pardoned if he does get convicted. Like, full stop. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts if that's not a possibility. If that's a possibility, like, I really do. I do think it is a possibility if this man is convicted that Donald Trump's going to intervene and pardon him. We'll fucking see. He's on a pardoning. That's a whole other thing we are not getting into today, but we could have gotten into. That's doo-doo. That's doo-doo. Next. So, I wanted to talk about this Paul Bender thing. So, Paul Bender, the bassist for Hiatus Coyote, posted and pinned a posted video to, and he's kind of gone on to kind of keep posting stuff about it. But let's check out this video real quick. Let's check out this post on Instagram.
Hello Internet, it's Bender here from Hiatus Coyote. As some of you may know, I have a side project called The Sweet Enoughs, which also features Mr. Simon Maven. And a few years ago, we put out an album called Marshmallow on the label Wondercore Island. It did very well for an album with absolutely no promotion, and it did pretty decent numbers on streaming. Several months ago, I was checking my Spotify, and lo and behold, we had released a new song. Or had we? This bizarre piece of music was something that I had never written, recorded, uploaded, or heard. So I was very confused. So I had to listen to it, and oh my fucking god. I contacted my management and my label head, and they went and hassled Spotify, and it eventually came off our profile and just went on to its own profile of the same name. And that took 6 fucking weeks. Not long after that, another piece of music was uploaded to our profile. Why? How? How is it possible for them to attach things to our profile without being logged into it, without us being informed about it, without any way for us to stop it, without any safeguards in place? It seems absolutely bizarre to me that this was something that you could just do. I mean, I can't just go onto Mr. Beast's YouTube.
So that's that video. It continues. It continues. This is a thing. This has been a thing. If you are also somebody who releases and uploads using like the different distribution companies like DistroKid or what have you, I don't think it's just that, but these DSPs, these platforms in which people stream music from, there is no barrier, there is no second verification needed or anything for me to post as myself. So there could be another JJ Caballero on there, could post, and that music could end up on my profile on Apple Music, and it could be totally unrelated to me. And I've seen this happen quite a few times to people with bands that are somewhat common parlance, or like if like a newer band didn't do their homework and name themselves quote unquote cleverly, but it was actually like a name of another more famous band or what have you, their music could end up on that profile of the more famous band. It's a thing. It happens. I've actually like downloaded music for DJ sets. That wasn't the song that I was actually looking for. It's weird. It's weird. These DSPs, these companies, they're horrible. they're just like, they don't function well. Like, they're not like the discovery on any of these. There's no discovery. There's no discovery for like smaller artists like me on these things. There's no like, they're not sharing things. Like, there's quote unquote like tools and such for us as artists to use ourselves and do the work to promote our music on there and such. But it is also like disguised info stealing, data stealing in stuff. It's there for us to warm up to Spotify, feed it our data, and that kind of nothing more than that. I recommend reading The Mood Machine by Liz Pelly. I recently read The Mood Machine by Liz Pelly. Holy shit. Spotify is a wild company. This streaming landscape is it's a mess. The industry it's weird. It's not the best industry. And people are waking up to it, and people want better. This leads me into my next little piece of information about that and people trying to work towards the better. I got this other little video posted up here. The All-American Rejects singer talks house party tour. Let's check this out.
For a house party tour come about?
The idea it was born out of just a real pure, intentional moment of like, let's go have fun and get back to the way we started when we started touring with this band in a van. 30 feet away up on an ivory tower, it's hard to connect to an audience, and this was a way to kind of embrace that spirit again.
And how much do the neighbors come into consideration? Because I imagine you can't play too late, you might get the cops called on you.
Well, we did in Mizzou. We got the cops called on us. It was their graduation day, just by the fates.
The cops just shut us down. Sorry, y'all. We just got kicked off campus.
Fuck the cops.
I imagine, I'm just thinking roughly the age that police officer could have been, right? Because for your music, for me, was very present in my mid-20s. I asked Boris, he said it was more high school for him.
Yeah,
that's our age difference here. Yeah. But it's very, it was at a really important time in our lives that we were hearing a lot of you. And
you know, they just kind of go on to like glaze them up a little bit. I think this is a great lane. I think this is great. I think this is great with a few caveats. So I've seen All American Rejects probably like 3 or 4 times. Do I like their music a lot? Do I love them? Is that why I've seen them so much? Nah, no. I do kind of like don't like some songs. There's kind of like more songs that I don't like than I do like. But they're a very fun band. They're very endearing, and they're on it. They've been doing it forever. I grew up. They were around when I was in high school as well, and this is a great lane for them. This is a great lane because they're a legacy artist now. They're legacy musicians now. All these emo tours, all these punk tours and stuff, where these albums that were like my. So I'm a millennial. I come from the like post at the drive-in, you know, kind of movement of the beginning of what is like considered like emo in modern parlance, that fit into like Thursday and things like that. Full disclosure, mentors of mine were in the band Sparta, things like that. You know, I bring up those bands because that's kind of like who I know and stuff. Either way. Anyway. Why am I bringing that up? So all these dudes are going out again on tour, and they're celebrating albums that were out like 20 years ago or what have you. And they're playing bigger venues and it's cool. But they're also still getting like, there's things getting cut from their shit. Like the venues don't pay out. Live Nation has a total monopoly on all these venues and stuff now. That in itself is it's shitty. It's shitty. So this cuts out the middleman. This cuts out like the whole venue taking a cut of your merch and venue taking a cut of the ticket prices and stuff going to Live Nation. I found a post. I need to find it and post it in the links below for you guys as well. But just there was someone talking about ticket pricing and like the fees and such that these big tours or these revival tours or these like reunion tours or these like celebration tours of albums that are 20 years old and things like that, massive cuts from the agencies that are putting on these shows are being taken away. The artist only sees so much. The artist ain't seeing shit. The artist is not seeing. Oh, it was a video with Andrew McMahon from Something Corporate, and he was talking about this. But either way, artists, it's getting harder for artists to make the money. I like this backyard show idea. It goes back to the roots. I've played in a bunch of backyards. I've played house shows back in the day when I was in high school. I want to do more house shows. Like they're still going on. That's where this all kind of gets weird because these things still happen. These things still happen. People still have house shows. People have backyard shows. Now I'm wondering. Now, are these bigger bands going to invade our smaller shows and like kind of overtake are they going to monopolize on our scene? Or it would be good for these bigger bands to incorporate within the smaller scenes and like maybe find local shows that they can be the headliners on and get a couple of local bands so that those friends and bands can big them up, but then they're the ones playing. It might be an ego thing for some of these bands and such, but get over it. The industry is changing. The industry is moving in many different directions right now. But this is a piece. This is like a piece of news that I thought it was real cool. I thought it was very cool that they're doing this, and I wanted to share this with my listeners. That is the episode. That's the episode. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching us on YouTube. I have been posting some of these clips as MSV TV clips, MSV TV episodes. I'm still doing music video reactions. I have a bunch that I haven't uploaded yet. Thank you if this is where you're catching some of this stuff on. Thank you. Check out all our links. You can find us at MonoStereoVideo on Instagram, and I believe that's what it's on right now. That's the only thing. Check out the links in the show notes below. You could click on the links, go to our shops, go to our YouTube page, go to our Spotify, go to our SoundCloud. Any of that stuff you can listen to us on. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week with a movie, and Casey will be back in studio, and we'll be talking about a full movie and a full soundtrack, and we'll just kind of keep alternating and doing these soundtrack, the Monster of the Week, soundtrack Monster of the Week. I'm pretty excited. Thank you all for listening, and we will listen to you later.